Hello and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today I'm going to talk about Judas Priest's Sane Class. But before I do, I have a quick programming note. I have some very sad news for all of you, or maybe for some of you, maybe for none of you. This will be the last episode, not ever, but the last episode until at least March. I have a friend coming to visit this week, and so I'll be busy with her this week and next week, and that's going to take us into March. So I won't have time for silly things like this video. I have more important things to do with my life than entertain you people. And by you people, I mean Mike Pratt, Kirk Desmond, and Dallas. I guess those are the only people that maybe will be disappointed. Maybe not even all of them. So come back in March if you want to see me talk about records. There will be some videos up probably during her visit, some hikes and things of that sort. Now, also a little update. The other day I talked about Kiss MTV Unplugged. I mentioned my dental problems that I had. Today, as I'm recording this, it's Monday. I just finished at the dentist a couple of hours ago. It was much better than the first appointment, which was 3 hours. This one was like an hour. They got the tooth out, the last remaining part of the tooth, and I'm still a little bit gnarled here from her, doing this. So it's not a cold sore, it's not herpes, it's not anything sinful or anything like that. It's just from having my mouth yanked like that. So it was much better. Oh, and I have a prop. Look at that. I asked for the tooth, and I guess everybody does it because they even wrap it in this nice little package. This is not my tooth. But my tooth, at least part of it, the part that they removed today, is in here. Isn't this interesting? Where else are you going to see people's pulled teeth? There it is. That's the part that was pulled today, which I can't really make sense of it. It looks like it's really sharp. It looks like an incisor. Is it an incisor or a canine? They're really sharpened, but this is part of my molar. Remember, this is just part of it. It was a much better procedure today. Shorter, better, everything about it was better, but my mouth is still a little numb, and my back here where my tooth was, it is a little bit sore. So if I stumble more than normal, that's why. So getting to Judas Priest, Sane Class, there it is. As with other Judas Priest albums I've done, I did Rockarola, Sad Wings of Destiny, Defenders of the Faith, Hellbent for Leather, Hellbent for Leather, and so this is the latest one that I've done. Like at least all of those except Defenders of the Faith. I never heard this album before until I listened to it the other day, and I listened to it again today. I had to take notes because I'm not familiar with it. There's one song only on this whole album. There's only one song that I knew prior to listening to it the other day. Yeah, and I'll tell you what song that was when I get to it. And I like this album a lot. I'm really surprised. And am I a poser? And if you've noticed, I'm wearing a Judas Priest Sane Class shirt. I got this a couple of years ago. Just because I like the shirt, and I do like Judas Priest, but am I a poser for doing so? Is it poserish to wear an album, the shirt with an album on it that you don't even know or are familiar with? I don't know, but there it is. So I've got and I got this at an actual store, an actual real store, not El Chopo. That's and also how often do you see what color is this? Burgundy? You don't see too many burgundy shirts, so I bought it just because I liked it. Now this is, you never really hear about anybody talking about Sane Class being their favorite Judas Priest album, or I don't think it's considered a classic Judas Priest album like British Steel, Hellbent for Leather, Defenders of the Faith, Screaming for Vengeance, of course. I don't think I've ever heard anybody cite this as being their favorite Judas Priest album. And I'm not really familiar with the world of Judas Priest, but I've never heard this mentioned in circles that this was a great album. I liked it a lot. Way more than I liked Hellbent for Leather. Better than Rock and Roller for sure. And I guess they this was when I guess they really became Judas Priest. Although I am still missing Sin After Sin. I'm not doing these in order, in chronological order. I'm just kind of doing them as I feel like it. And this to me sounds like Judas Priest. This is heavy metal Judas Priest. It's not the thrashy, heavy Judas Priest like later with Painkiller. It's not the more bluesy hard rock like maybe Rock-a-Rolla. It's not anthemic, maybe like Breaking the Law or I don't know, things like that. I was kind of surprised how much I like this album. And I think just it has all the elements of Judas Priest that I consider to be Judas Priest elements, and great drums too. I think this is the first Judas Priest album I've heard that I thought, like I've said that Defenders of Faith is probably my favorite record, but the drums, and I don't even know if they use real drums on that album. They're not very good. Turbo, ram it down. But the drums on this album are great. Everything about this album sounds really good. Good songs. Yeah. So that's what I think about Stained Class. And now I will open it and then go through it track by track. There's no hype sticker. Nothing here. I guess it's just a regular edition. Just black vinyl. Probably the merch, the order form inside, as the other ones did. I'm about to find out. It looks like there's something. And they were good. The packaging of the other ones that I did, I was very impressed with it. This is similar to Defenders of the Faith. It doesn't have the merch order form. That's fine. So there it is. Cool. We got the lyrics. And we got this. And by the way, doesn't this album cover suck? It really sucks. That's a really bad album cover. It looks like Terminator 2 or something. And also, the literal album cover, this one, it's kind of blurry. And I know that there's supposed to be a finger or a thumb here. I'm not sure what it is. In the digital copy that I've had on my phone for months now, it's way better. It's sharper and you can see the thumb. This is kind of dark and just not sharp. Anyway, so there it is. And the record, let's see, I think it's just black vinyl. Yeah, it is. It's got the this side and that side thing, the Judas Priest thing there, and then the album cover on the other side. All right. So there it is. So going through this track by track, I'll put this back, and I need my notes too. I have to get my notes. I can also remove this unsheath, is what I'm doing now. There we go. All right. So there we go. And everything always looks nicer when it's unwrapped and not shiny and glossy. There it is. So the first song is Exciter, and I mentioned that I only knew prior to listening to the full album the other day. The one full song that I knew, I've known this song for years, is Exciter. I like this song. It's fast. It's heavy, I guess, at least for 1978, pretty heavy. I guess almost I've never heard anybody say it, but I know I'm not the first one to think this. This is, I guess you could say, almost like a thrash, a precursor. This is annoying me quite a bit. It's quite fast, maybe a precursor to thrash. This is what Exciter, the band, the Canadian band, Heavy Metal Maniac, Violence and Force, Long Live the Loud. They took their name of the band Exciter from this song. By the way, I am going to see Exciter on March 29th, I think it is, in Mexico City. So maybe stay tuned for some things related to Exciter. And the line in Exciter, "Fall to your knees and repent if you please," I think was totally ripped off 4 years later by Venom. "Lay down your soul to the gods rock and roll" on black metal. Exactly the same. There's the break in the song, and then "Fall to your knees and repent if you please." Venom totally stole with "Lay down your soul to the gods rock and roll." It's got the same cadence, but great song, Exciter. Is one of my I guess one of my favorite Judas Priest songs. Next is White Heat, Red Hot. This was a good one too. As I said, I liked every song on this album, really. This had I remember I'm going by notes here based on one listen. It had a good tempo to it, and then going from the verse into the chorus, it kind of went double time, which I really liked. To me, this was a classic Judas Priest song. Again, what I think about Judas Priest, that's what this song is. Towards the end of the song, there was some double bass drum, which I think heavy metal fans really like that. Good song, White Heat, Red Hot. I knew that song title in the Priest universe. I've known the song title, but had never heard it. Next is Better by You, Better Than Me. This is one that I did know. I never heard it until the other day, but I did know it because, they had that lawsuit in the 80s, I guess it was, maybe mid or late 80s. The guy killed himself and killed his friend and killed himself or something, and apparently influenced or inspired by hidden messages in Better by You, Better Than Me. So I did know the title of the song, but never heard it. I like it. I think it's like, again, it's like, and maybe I'll be repetitive here, it's classic Judas Priest. Great drums. I mentioned the drums on this album are way better than any Judas Priest album that I've heard. So Better by You, Better Than Me, good song also. Next is the title track, Stay in Class. I thought this was good too. It had kind of a catchy chorus, heavy metal song, and then kind of a catchy, maybe a little bit of a precursor of where they kind of went a little bit more melodic or anthemic maybe was British Steel next? I think it was. Next is Invader. This is, again, classic Judas Priest. I think this will be a good... the pace of it, a good headbanging song, probably really good live, although I don't know if they ever played it live. Next is Saints in Hell. I like this one too. It was a good song. The lyrics were kind of cheesy, and they included some French. I didn't know Rob Halford had it in him, as Bruce Dickinson does too. It was something about an abattoir and Que Belle Horreur. I think this would also, I don't know if they played it live, but I think this also would have been a good, a good crowd pleaser, Saints in Hell. Savage, 9 songs here, so we're up to number 7, Savage. Nothing really stood out to me, but I did like it. Savage is a good song. The next is Beyond the Realms of Death. Now, this song, I didn't know it as the title of a Judas Priest song. There's a Razor song called Death Race, and that's on Executioner's song, I think, on 1984, 85. And on Death Race, the lyrics are, Beyond the realms of death, beyond the realms of death, with each unspoken breath, there's nothing you can't face in a death race. And they obviously clearly stole the lyric from Death Race, from the title of the Judas Priest song, Beyond the Realms of Death. And I was a little bit, maybe this is the one song, I didn't dislike it, but maybe I was a little bit disappointed in. I'd seen that it was like 6.5 or 6:40, 6:50, kind of a long song. So I expected it was going to be this, kind of and maybe it was, but I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't as good as I thought. Maybe underwhelming, or I was underwhelmed when I heard this song. It had, it has, the mellow intro and the mellow verses, and then the chorus is rock. It had a great middle section. The guitar solos were really cool. But yeah, overall I thought, not as good as maybe I was expecting. Maybe I raised the bar too high for that. And then the last song is Hero's End. I thought this was a good, an appropriate song to close the album. Again, I think classic Judas Priest, a real heavy metal song, Hero's End. Yeah, so there you go. I still have a lot more. How many more here? I still have 4 Judas Priest albums to talk about. That's going to probably take me months to get through. And remember, nothing until March, at least March. So that's it. I mentioned when I did Hellbent for Leather, I was pretty disappointed. I thought, did I do the wrong thing trying to get into Judas Priest? But Sad Wings of Destiny made me think, no, I made the right choice. And this one did too. Rock-a-Rolla, not so great. Hellbent for Leather, in my opinion, not so great. But this one is pretty good. And when I say this one, I'm referring to Judas Priest. Stay in class.